Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into Lesson 3, which is all about loading the raw transaction dataset. Let's get to it. So, here's our game plan. Our primary objective is twofold. First, we need to load our credit card transaction dataset right into a Pandas data frame. And second, and honestly, this is the crucial part, we have to verify that the import was actually successful. Now, you might be thinking, well, that sounds like a super basic first step, right? But if you work with information at all, you know that this first checkpoint in any data science pipeline is without a doubt the most important one. We're not just, tossing data into our workspace and crossing our fingers. Bringing the raw data in is one thing, but actually verifying it, that gives us the confidence to really trust the foundation of our entire project. Because if your data doesn't load correctly right here, literally everything that follows is fundamentally compromised. It's kind of like building a house. If the foundation is cracked from day one, the framing won't even matter. Take a second and just look at that number, 1,296,675. We are not messing around with a tiny sample size or some basic test file here. We're handling over 1.29 million individual credit card transactions. When you're dealing with a data set of this sheer scale, you absolutely cannot afford a single dropped row during the loading process. I mean, think about it. Even a tiny fraction of a percent of data loss could mean hundreds of missing transactions. And in our specific context, those lost rows might just be the exact fraudulent anomalies we're trying to catch down the line. We need every single one of them to make sure our analysis is actually valid.
Think of this output metric as our digital receipt. We can see the numbers clearly laid out for us. Our rows hit that massive 1,296,675 mark, and our columns are sitting at 24. And finally, the shape metric mathematically binds those two together. Verifying these exact raw numbers is an absolutely essential best practice. It acts exactly like, say, checking an inventory manifest after a massive physical shipment arrives at a warehouse. By checking these metrics right at the gate, we're essentially proving to ourselves that no observations were dropped in transit. The exact data we intended to import is exactly the data we are holding right now.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates what we mean when we talk about a dataset's shape. It's a term you're going to hear constantly, and breaking down its anatomy is really crucial for true understanding. The shape is simply the dimensions of a dataset. It represents the exact intersection of our observations and our variables. So in the context of our credit card transactions, those 1.29 million rows, those are our individual observations. Each one is a distinct event, a literal swipe of a card out there in the real world. And the 24 columns? Well, those are our variables. They're the specific characteristics, the timings, and all the little details attached to every single one of those transactions.
All right, so consider our success checklist completely done. The data is securely in our workspace, the dimensions are locked and verified, and every single observation has been accounted for. Because those numbers match up perfectly against our expectations, we can state with absolute certainty that this dataset is fully primed and officially ready for the deeper preprocessing stages that follow. We've successfully built a rock-solid foundation.
So we can go ahead and give the all-clear signal for this major procedural milestone. But let's pivot for a second and see how this builds into our next big question. We have the shape, right? We know the sheer massive size of what we're dealing with, but what secrets are actually hidden within its structure? I mean, what do those 24 variables actually represent, and what kind of story do they tell about these millions of transactions? That is exactly what we're going to uncover in our next step, where we start thoroughly exploring the structure of the data set. Until then, remember to always verify your data, and I'll catch you in the next planer.